guys, you're watching this one and only. My name is AJ, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Raid in Minecraft. No, let's build a spooky house. Today, we're working out front here. I've cleared away the trees, which actually has already made it look so much better. What's that down there? In random spider, that's the coal ore, isn't it? I've cleaned out this area here of spruce trees. Obviously, I want to have spruce trees in the area. That's why I chose this biome. They're very spooky looking tree. I've got burpy hiccups. But not around the front. We want a nice clear, almost like a clear view to the house itself. But what we want to do is we want to build a big spooky tree here. I love how this is on top of a hill as well. Totally unintentional, but a really nice sort of coincidence. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to grab, I think, probably we'll go spruce logs to build a tree. I want a big, willowy-like tree, but there was a good suggestion on this tree, and that's to have a face in the tree. Very, very cool. Now, what way do we want the face to be, though? Do we want the face to be when you come out of the house, the face is on this side, or do we want it to be when you approach the house, with my lag issues, the face is on this side? I tell you what I'm going to do. Oops. I'm going to drop the render distance down even further. Maybe 16 is probably a little bit too much for what we're doing here. Anyway, oh, I like the fog. Oh, I might drop that down even further and have like the house in a little bit of a fog as well. That could be cool for like a cinematic episode. Now, I think the face on this side of the tree will probably be best. And I think that's a good distance away. If we started the tree, let's just do a random sort of somewhat circle here for the moment. Like somewhat of a base to it. Something like that. Not perfect for the minute, but something like that. I think that's a good distance between the two, because it's going to be a pretty big tree. We want to have a face on it, though. Now, for a spooky face, we're going to want to have at least 3 blocks for the eyes. Something like that. Or like that for the eyebrows. 2 blocks, 4 blocks, or 4. Something like that for the eyes, which is 9 blocks total width. So we need to have at least 9 blocks for, it doesn't have to be 9 blocks flat, but at least 9 blocks for the straight area. So if we had something like, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then this could sort of come back how it wants, that way. And that way. Cool. We're looking a little bit squished now, so we probably want to bring this back a little bit more. Something like that. We're looking more sort of tree shaped now. Okay, awesome. Now a tree doesn't grow dead straight with flat sides. It has parts of the bark poking out, maybe some of the bark falling off, so you want to get some different levels in there as well. And obviously we've got the roots and stuff to do. We're not going to worry too much about that for the moment. What we're going to do is we're going to sort of try and build this tree up just a smidge for the moment. I'm just putting the logs whatever way they go to be the correct way up for what I want. Something like this, and then I think the mouth is going to start around this level. We've got 9 blocks wide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Technically 10, but that doesn't really matter too much. For the mouth, which means if we had probably some sort of orange, like an orange hardened clay. It's like a dark orange for the mouth. We want something a little bit evil, so we want something like, it might be a little bit too high. I might drop it down by 1 block. Something like that. Okay. Yeah. 100%. 100%. Something like that. Okay. For the mouth. And then this tree wraps around. For the start, the tree is going to look very flat edged, if you know what I mean. But hopefully, as the tree progresses and we start getting more detail in, we'll be able to slowly sort of take that away. And we don't want sideways logs or anything like that. So at the moment it's looking very flat, very straight edge to the tree, which is what I said at the very beginning that I don't want. But you have to start somewhere. You have to sort of get this face going first. Nose. Nose shouldn't be too difficult. We want something like this for the nose. I might even make it a little bit taller. Button. You know how witches have the spot on their nose? We can do that with the tree. Yeah? And then the eyes go on here. So if we had the eyes, again, we want to set this one block back. It might be there. This might be the wrong place. I don't know yet. Something like that and that. And then it's so awkward to get the tree logs facing the right way. But we'll get it. We'll get it. Like this. Oh, it's looking good. Like that. And like that. Yeah, yeah. Again, very flat. It will all be thickened out. It's going to be a big tree, a very big tree. The leaves are going to take a really long time to do. So obviously I'll be doing a little bit of that sort of stuff off camera. Might change up the pupils to some other block, like a red. What about redstone block? Like, would we want them down here? Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, and I might add glowstone hanging from the leaves of the tree. Did I freeze then? I froze then. I think I'm okay. It might have just been the preview that froze. If I froze, I apologize. Might have some glowstone hanging from the trees as well. Just to give it like a little bit of light, a little bit of a glow. Potentially. Something like that. We want some eyebrows on him. We want something... I might... You know what? The logs facing this way might actually look quite good. For like the detail parts. Yeah, what about the nose? If we done the nose like that as well. I sort of like that. I like the eyebrows better. Oops. I like the eyebrows like that. I don't think I like the nose like that though. That I like. That I like. That's oh, what's the word? When them witches, there's a type of cult where witches like try and become a bull. I can't remember what it is. It's natural. I know it sounds weird, but then they always have these like holes in their nose. That's what it looks like. Okay, very, 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 very cool. So all we need to do now for the moment is get the rest of the tree up to around that height. It's going to be pretty square, it's going to be pretty flat, but then once we've got this in, it's then going to give us a platform to then widen out the bottom of the tree. We're not going to have this problem of having to go on top or below the blocks to get them facing the right direction and stuff like that. So what we do is we just come up here. Oh, that one. That'll look weird otherwise. So we come all the way up here. It's been ages since I've actually built a tree in Minecraft. I'm not the best at it. It's definitely not one of my strongest types of builds in Minecraft trees, but I really do enjoy doing them. They just take me a little bit longer than maybe some other people would, or more experienced tree builders. Some people can build some absolutely amazing trees in Minecraft. I'm sure you've seen like trees of sculptures of women, or of humans. And they're like arched back with the like hand in the air, and there's like twigs coming off it all. These trees though, they're not like, this is going to be a big tree, but this is nowhere near as big as some of the trees that other people build, where they're like, I don't know, 200 blocks tall at least, 300 blocks tall sort of thing. And the only really easy way that you can see the whole thing is by putting the world into like a computer program and then rendering it out. Oh, they look absolutely stunning, absolutely beautiful, but you need to either have an absolutely massive render distance to see it and a lot of time. So we at least have something that's starting to look like a tree trunk. but trees are always wider at the bottom. I started at the beginning doing something like that. So what we want to do is we want to sort of come around this tree. I'm just going to go, I think, to maybe around there and start sort of building up the area surrounding it. Let it get nice and sort of close to the mouth. Try and use the mouth and stuff as like guide of how high we can really go. Oh, look at that. Missed that one. Something like this. And you will end up just like going wider and wider and wider unintentionally, but that's what you want. You want to keep increasing the width of this tree as much as you possibly can, really. That one, and that one. I do hate it when I place them the wrong way, though. Like this. And you want to do this all of the way around. Once you've got this all the way around, you can... Go away, Rain. You can then start thinking about the roots and stuff. Get out of here, get out of here. Get out of here. We can always add ferns and stuff back afterwards. We want to go as high as we really can with these. I might even make it a little bit taller on the other side as well. The side that we sort of already have half done. I wish I could just get logs that faced only upwards. Wouldn't that be so much better? I could retexture these logs so it has the log face on each side. That's something that we can do. I know there's a block ID for it, but I don't think I can actually get it without having World Edit. I don't have World Edit on this series. I deliberately chose not to. But yeah, if we retextured it, we could actually get the log, like the bark face of the log on all the sides. Do you guys remember on console the old glitch that allowed you to get those blocks in Minecraft? I think there's probably still a way to do it, but it was just really weird that nobody really understood it. Water and lever contraption, and it would actually allow you to get all of these weird blocks in the game that weren't actually in there at the time. It even allowed you to get dark oak and acacia logs at one point, and they were nowhere near in the game yet, but you could get them through this really weird contraption. I remember so many YouTubers making videos on that. I built one. I used it. I didn't make a video on it though. But wow, that just sent me back. That was a little bit of nostalgia. That was like probably 3 years ago, at least 2 years ago. Wow, when you think of it like that. Okay, anyway, you guys get the gist. Let's just back off for a moment, and as you can see, the base of the tree is now looking an awful lot better. We're starting to get rid of the straightness, and if you imagine that side would be the same as that side, you can see, let's stand over here, that we're looking a little bit more tree trunky like. Let me work on this a little bit and I shall be back. Okay, I've done it all the way around. It might not look that much different to you guys, but I've actually added a lot more logs all the way around here. No roots yet, but I want to show you something. I didn't actually have the resource pack on, so now... By the way, I'm using tutorial pack 1. I had a problem with the spooky texture pack. Something messed up with it, so I just converted all the textures over. But, boom! Suddenly, we've got rid of the edges of the logs. It's not going to affect any of the house. We haven't used the logs itself yet, so that's not going to change. But now we actually have the log face on all the sides, and it looks like a much more complete tree, don't you think? Bink. Don't you think? I don't know why. It just really helps out. Also, I don't have to worry now what way I'm facing. I can now just add parts to it, and it's not really going to look any different. But boy, does that look cool. Now, the roots. The roots aren't actually that hard to do. All you need to do is at some points, look at this. I can just click. And it all looks fine now. Underneath here. What you need to do is you need to just sort of drag out little areas. Like that one. And just drag them out a little bit. Try and get them thinner as you get towards like the end of them. Have them thicker as you get sort of towards. Put a little bit on top. I tell you what it's exactly like. It's like building an octopus leg. If you've ever built an octopus in Minecraft before, which I expect some of you have, oh, you probably want a little bit of a curve in it as well. If you've ever built an octopus before in Minecraft, you'll know that you want to sort of have like a 3D sort of effect on it by having more than just a base layer. And that really, really works out well. It might even be best to go with 8 of them. You don't want them on each corner or make it even like that. I'm going to have one on that corner. I'm going to have one just off center coming out this way. But then there's another type of route that you can do. Okay, let's just sort of get this back to the start here. Something like that. You want some shorter than others. You want some to go uphill. You want some to drop downhill. There's so many different sort of things that you could do. But then the other type of route is ones that don't actually connect to the tree. The type of routes that just sort of, like that. The type of routes that just appear out of the ground. So what we can do is we can have over here, for example, you can imagine the route will go underground and then it comes up here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and have like a little part that you could maybe walk under. So we'd have something like, this is so much easier now that the logs all, it doesn't matter what way I've got the logs. It's so much better. So we can have something like this. Now you want to build this up quite big because you're then going to have sort of blocks on either side. Oops. Yeah, that can stay there. Something like this. And have them pretty, it's like pretty much anything that I build with Minecraft. You've got to have the random aspect with it. Don't worry too much about your placement. But look at that, hey? That's looking really cool. Now we can tell that the tree is going to end up being very tall, very big. Well, not tall as such, but very big, very sort of top heavy, if you like. But it's now supported by all of these roots that come out of the ground, vines, things like that. We can also. I was also thinking about adding a spider. Hey, a spider somewhere in here, like an actual. We make one out of like black wool or something like that, or blue wool. Make a blue spider, or green spider could look cool as well. So this tree now, looking at my sketch, we want to come out wider, but I think we want maybe 4 or 5 large branches, not twigs. They're like big branches. We want it to come out though, so you want to sort of come up like this somewhat. That might be a little bit too fast for it to come out at. You might want it a little bit of a slower sort of increase. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a tip that I use with quite a lot of things, and I just do the 4 edges. I do this when I'm building like the bottle that we had in Zonocraft, the giant glass bottle. The first thing that we done for that was to actually do just the 4 edges first, and then sort of work our way, like weaving a basket. If you've ever done that before, if you haven't ever done that, you should. It's actually really fun to do. Weaving your own basket. You start off with like the edges, and then you fill in the rest. It gives you an idea on where things are looking correct, where things are looking a little bit too shy, where you need to bring them out. I'm not going to bother taking the old stuff away, because obviously it's all going to be tree and logs and oak anyway. Wood anyway. I think that's looking a little bit better. This is actually a pretty good start for our 4 logs, or our 4 big branches to be. And then we can have the last branch being sort of a little bit off center. I might put it a little bit more over here, in fact. A little bit over here. And you want to have it nice and somewhat large. Not circle either, though. If you have it circle, it looks a little bit weird. Something like that. So we have 1 there. 1 here. This isn't going to be like a 1 or 2 episode thing. This is going to be something that we're going to come back to. It's like a little sub-series inside the series. 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, I think is probably a good number for like amount of like large branches to come out of this. And we'll come out here. It's like building just not perfect circles to begin with. 4. And the last one over here. Okay, up there then. It doesn't matter where you start, because you're only going to continue the log all the way down anyway. We're just going to focus on probably this one, seeing as I'm at it. I like that I'm doing logs facing in different directions as well. I think that gives a really nice effect to the tree. Okay, so now we've got our sort of 5 pedestals at the moment. We now want to make these into actual thick branches, and it's pretty easy. All you've got to do is bring what you've done all the way down. Just keep clicking. And if you're on console, just keep like smashing your trigger button. It doesn't matter if you get these ones that poke out. Ignore them. Do not remove them. Leave them there 100%. Just slowly get your way back down to the main trunk of the tree. Something like this. And the ones that stick out, the ones that you sort of placed wrong, all get blended in. They all blend in themselves. It's very, very clever. So we have this all the way down here. Also, your tree's probably not going to be as hollow as you might think, because where you're just like spamming the click button, you probably end up going to be clicking some of the ones sort of wider anyway, yeah? Like that. And on the inside, so your tree's going to be pretty much solid by the end of it. Again, I placed that block wrong there. I'm not bothered. I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to change anything with it. If at the end there's a few blocks that are annoying you because they're like a little bit too wide or a little bit too far out, you can remove them at the end, but don't remove them until the very end, until you're really, really unhappy about them. Okay. And then it's just a matter of adding. Keep clicking. Once you've got the sort of beginning of it in, just keep clicking, keep adding more, and it'll really thicken up the branch. That's the trick with these large trees. Boom. And there's one. It's looking a little bit thin towards the bottom here. But these are going to start off very thick. And they're going to get thinner like branches do the higher towards the top that they go. We want to make this a little bit thicker over here to give us a bit of a platform to then bring it up to the edge of the tree. Ooh, get under this one. Like that. So we should be looking a little bit more sort of even all the way up. Very, very cool. And each log that you do, each branch that you do is going to join in eventually to the branch next to it. So hopefully you won't get any holes into the middle of the tree. And if you do, just add another branch. It only needs to be a smaller branch if you want, but just add another one. Let me do that on the other 4 and I shall be back. Alright, I've been clicking for only about 10 minutes now, and what I'm doing is I've got all 4 branches in, or all 5, sorry, branches in, and I'm just filling in all of the middle area now. So there isn't many holes, there's one hole there, and I'm just sort of filling it in, thickening some areas up, making sure that we can't see a tool inside the tree anywhere. I think that's probably got all of them. We'll have a look from above. Looks good. Let's back off. I haven't backed off yet and seen it. I've just done exactly what I done in like the tutorial part. Just clicking, building it all up. And boom. That is a good tree base. We've now got the foundation, well, a little bit more than the foundation, in fact, of how our tree is going to go. All of these big branches are slowly going to get thinner, and as they get thinner, they're going to branch off into 2 or 3 other smaller branches as they go up, and all of these incorrectly placed ones, like one there and there's one there, they become just thin branches coming out. Or the more branches that you've got, the more easy areas you've got to put leaves on, eventually giving you a more realistic, fuller looking tree. Now, we're not going for realism in this tree that has a face on it, but you guys know what I mean. Like, we can have a little branch coming off here. Make sure you, oh, by the way, make sure you don't have all the branches and twigs that come out. Don't have them all straight or like on a perfect diagonal. Have them a little bit curvy, a little bit weird, a little bit mutated, especially on a spooky tree like this. You're definitely going to want it. Don't have them all on the same level either. I'm going to sort of drop this one down by 1 block. That one goes up by 1 block. This one stays the same. I probably want to drop this down by 1 block as well. 1 or 2 blocks like that. Just sort of hangs down. And you can obviously do little branches off them as well. Something like that. And like that. And you need to add those around all of the little areas that you done, all the blocks that you placed wrong. And on the bigger ones, we're not going to be able to do it this episode, but what you want to do is you want to try and make them go slowly, weave them up at different angles. Hit my microphone. Weave them up at different angles until they get thinner, until they eventually end. But before you get that, you want to try and cover as much area as you can. You want to try and get it up nice and, well, not necessarily high with a willow tree, but nice and big and clunky and large. Thin them off, bow them out at different angles. I don't really want it too much higher than this. I think I want to sort of bring it outwards, you know, more horizontally now, for the leaves to then hang down over the face a little bit. But yeah, and they'll all branch off as well. That is all we've got time for this episode. Let's just take a quick look at it at night time. As you can see, I've cleared the weather so many times while off camera. It was unbelievable. Time set. We'll just click night, see what time it gives us at. Yeah, looking cool. Definitely, I think we do need some sort of glowstone, though. Oh, behind the veils. Some little bits of glowstone. Maybe just off the leaves to give it some light. That could look cool. That could look really cool. Anyway, if you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you didn't, feel free to subscribe. And we shall see you in the next episode, where we might be working more on the tree, or we might be back inside the house. I haven't decided yet.